Hey, what's up everybody? Kyle Buckland here with the Artful Souls. I'm going to continue my series on design stems. There's a lot of these, and if you go back and watch the one I did on the steel yard, the video previous to this, I talk a little bit about what design stems are, but I want to talk a little bit about how they're to be used in your art. It's important to use them as a learning tool. So whenever you first start out learning something, it's important that you take your time and not try to get ahead of yourself. I know a lot of students want to jump the gun and learn how to paint masterpieces right away, but it's like training with anything. You have to learn the basics, and you have to be able to be willing to take your time and learn these basic foundations to build on, so that you can get to the point where you can create masterpieces. And so these compositional stems or design stems are intended to help you study forms of classical design, and also they can come in handy when your intuition's just not working for you. But ultimately, what you want them to be is a stepping stone to where you can instinctively pick out good design and good compositions from nature without just relying solely on a design stem. And what you'll eventually find is that you'll instinctively be utilizing these design stems in your work without even knowing it. But in order to be able to reach that level, we have to really first learn about them and focus on them. So if you want, you can specifically try to seek out patterns in nature that could lend themselves to a particular design stem, and then play with that one, and then see if you can do another sketch or another painting with another one. So I'm just going to go right down the line here. The next one is going to be the circle. So this is a pretty basic design stem. It involves the main lines of the picture to create a circle. Now what we don't want to do is have a bullseye effect where we have a center of interest right in the center of our circle. So we want this circle to be a little off center, maybe, in our picture. And I'm going to put it off to the left there, and it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. So this is more of like a diagram of the circle design stem. So I'm not going to get into drawing trees right now. I'll show you that here in a second. But if we think about this, we could have this be somewhat of an oval. It could be even a rectangle if it creates this circular motion. So if your eye is traveling around in a circle. And then we want our center of interest to be in the circle, but again, not right dead center in the circle. We want it to be kind of off to the side here. So using the same type of illustration, we could have our center of interest here. This would be the same type of the illustration as we did with the steel yard, where we're going to have a road coming down a path and then a couple figures down the road. So let me go ahead and do that real quick so you can see what it is that I'm talking about. This is going to be a great design stem to suggest a rhythmic quality in your work. Okay, so the circle could be created usually by some main lines in the picture. So let's sketch in a background hill here. And we'll have our road that leads out towards our center of interest. Very similar to the steel yard illustration. And we're even going to have the same type of large tree on the left, but this time we're going to bring it on out here a little bit further into the composition. And what we're going to have here is another tree that comes out here, comes around this side. Now watch this here. See, we don't have to have an actual physical line that makes the entire circle. Sometimes we could use brush strokes or directional lines. So I'm going to suggest some direction in this hillside here that sweeps our eye up and continues this line of the circle. Now let's say we have, again, a couple little figures out here. It's just suggestions of little figures walking down the trail. I have a tree trunk here. Now I'm just going to mass in these trees. And we can leave a couple areas where the sky's poking through. And see how I can even use the direction of the stroke up here to push your eye back around the circle. I have some little parts of the tree that come out here. The leaves. We could even have a shadow that comes down in here. So you can find little elements in the landscape to help create your line. And then we might have a little embankment here with some lines that come out that way, and a little bit of grass there. So you can already see how this is creating a lot of nice harmony, a nice lyrical type of composition. Have some clouds out here and a distant mountain, distant ridge line there. And I'm not going to get too detailed here in this. I just want these to be sketches. I want you to get in the habit of doing little compositional sketches. This can be especially helpful right before you start a painting. I don't always do it, but sometimes I do, and I know there's a lot of artists that swear by starting off with just a quick a value plan, a little charcoal sketch or a pencil sketch, and this can give you an opportunity to lay out some of your design. Some distant trees off of here, and to know whether things are going to work. And so we can add little elements of detail just like we did in the last one, and we're building on this foundation of the circle. So we have a lot of little lines going on, but the main line of the picture, you can see, just follows this big sweeping circle through here. And our center of interest, the figures here, create a nice focal point, and we end up with a balanced classical type of design. So that's the circle compositional stem for you. If you like the videos, be sure to give them a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit subscribe and click the bell for notifications. Also, if you want to support the channel, there's a link to my Patreon page in the description below. You can check that out and go on there and become a patron of the page. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon with more videos. So have fun and happy painting.